Hey yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Dadscap, welcome to the Market Pulse weekly deep dive into the CS2 economy. Let's jump right in. Player count has surprisingly been trending up this week, over 8.7% in fact. The market cap however has been absolutely obliterated, down a soul-crushing 6.11%. That's a loss of almost $300 million in 1 week. We are seeing red across the board for the indexes. Liquids are down 3.9%, lows are down 4.1%, mids are down 3.2%. Even high tiers, which had somehow managed to hold strong last week, are down over 2.1% this week. Yikes! As for the knives and gloves index, both suffered moderate losses, losing just about 2.5% combined. And as for the extra cosmetics, very little activity to report here apart from agents continuing their downtrend with the rest of the market, while charms maintained their gain from last week's pump. And finally for the cases index, 2016 to 2019 cases are somehow up 10%, and the 2020 to 2022 cases are up 11%. After last week's bloodbath, it's not surprising to see a rebound here. The market pulse this week is shell-shocked. Copium reserves are now officially dry now that the trade protection update seems to be here to stay. Any foolish hope that Valve would backtrack it in some way is now well and truly gone. But if you're a long-term believer, aka a Giga Chad, this is the dip you've been waiting for. The browser extension Skin Scanner literally helped me find an M4 Blue Phosphor factory new for $795, so an easy $100 profit for me if prices remain stable for the week. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel like Warner freaking Boofer right now. Link is in the description. Welcome to Case Crackdown, where we break down the happenings in the case market of the past week. And this week, unboxings have surged to 9.2 million cases this week, up over 1 million cases since last week, holy shit, of which 46% were active cases, 39% were purchasable, and 15% were either rare or discontinued. The number one purchasable case is, surprise surprise, the Fever case, with unboxing slamming another 10.69% to just under 3 million this week. The top active case was the Revolution case, the king is back, with openings up a massive 16.4% as people keep chasing gloves. And the number one rare case was the Snakebite case once again, with openings up a huge 22.2% for essentially the same reason as the Revolution case. Gloves are very much in demand. As for the most liquid case, once again we find the Kilowatt case with its unboxings rocketing up by 88%. There is definitely an itch of gambling needing to be scratched for a lot of players, and the affordability of the Kilowatt case, in part due to its massive supply, makes it a strong choice if you just need to drown out the pain of seeing your inventory value go down. Speaking of going down, the biggest crash out this week was the Clutch case, down a painful 12.13% for a total loss of 30 cents per case, which sounds pretty bad unless you are also an investor in the case with the most potential, which was the Horizon case. The numbers just speak for themselves, up over 14% this week, 28% in 15 days, and nearly 40% on the month. Most of this growth was initiated by one smart investor who dumped their entire net worth buying cases, knowing that the market will look at the spike and immediately FOMO into it as well. Whoever that investor is, well played sir, well played. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that goofier bell to never miss another market recap in the future. Welcome to winners and losers, starting off with the winning cases, and this week there are relatively cheapish cases, with the Shadow case being up 8%, the Revolution case, an active case, up 10.5%, and as expected, the Horizon case topping the chart at just over 14.34%. As I've already mentioned, there's nothing that links these cases together apart from the fact that they're all relatively cheap cases, and, excluding the Revolution case, had relatively low demand beforehand. Meanwhile, for the losers, we find the Gallery case sitting at the bottom, losing 8.5%, the Gamma 2 case in the middle, losing a flat 10%, and of course the Clutch case, crashing out the most, losing just over 12%. Play scales are a complete wasteland. These so-called winners this week aren't even up. Absolutely everything is in the red. But the least red things this week were all AK skins, with the Empress field tested from the Spectrum 2 case, followed by the Asimov field tested from the Danger Zone case, and finally, at the very top of whatever you'd call this ranking, the Inheritance minimal wear from the Kilowatt case. As for the losers, again, all AK skins, with the Neon Rider field tested from the Horizon case sitting at the bottom, followed by two skins who were victims of market manipulation last week, the Phantom Disruptor factory new and the Point Disarray minimal wear, both crashing a combined 14% since last week. Moving on to knives, the winners of this week were all pretty unremarkable, with the Butterfly Knife Vanilla up 2%, followed by the Ursus Crimson Web field tested up just over 3.5%, and the Talon Doppler Phase 3 almost reaching 6%. There's not much else to be said here apart from the fact this just seems like normal market fluctuations, something I may not be willing to say if we look at the losers. I'm not sure why exactly the Bowie Knife Marble Fade and the Ursus Knife Ultraviolet Minimal Wear crashed so much this week, but I've got an idea for what happened to the Survival Doppler Phase 1, a knife from the Fever case. When almost 3 million of these cases are being opened every week, it's a miracle that knives from this case aren't losers every single week. And finally for gloves, the only notable winner is the Driver Glove Snow Leopard, up a measly 1.56%. Losers on the other hand, no pun intended, hahaha, well losers, with the Driver Gloves Black Tie field tested losing the most at minus 12% since last week. I'm surprised not to see the big game from last week topping the loser chart of this week, but considering the state of the winners chart, it doesn't take Einstein to guess it didn't do too good since last time. Welcome to ROI Radar, where we're looking for an inputter hidden in the armory or the in-game store, starting off with the Enfu sticker capsule with an odds profit of 21%, an unboxing ROI of 89%, and an expected value of 88 cents, with an 11 cents loss. The best item is the Chabo at $3.85. Next up is the Perfect World sticker capsule 1 with an odds profit of 45%, an unboxing ROI of 117%, what the fuck, and an expected value of $1.16 with 17 cents gain. The best item is the Fancy Koi foil at $6.44. And the best capsule in the in-game store is the Boardroom sticker capsule with an odds profit of 21%, an unboxing ROI of 124%, what the hell, and an expected value of $1.23 with 24 cents gain. The best item is the Smoke Criminal at $10.19. Moving on to the armory, the third best collection are the Missing Link charms with an odds profit of 15%, an unboxing ROI of 93%, and an expected value of $1.12, so an 8 cents loss. The best item is the Hot Howl at $56.64. Next up is the Sport and Field collection with an odds profit of 5%, an unboxing ROI of 94%, and an expected value of $1.51, so a 9 cents loss. The best item is the M4 Fade at $603. And finally, the best collection in the armory is the Elemental Craft sticker collection with an odds profit of 23%, an unboxing ROI of 102%, and an expected value of 41 cents, or 1 cent gain. The best item is the Googly Eye at $12.38. Thank you guys for watching, I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.